Hello everyone. Let me show you right off the bat why mastering the transition from the program formulation phase to the program delivery phase is the ultimate make or break moment where plans turn into actual execution. When you look at the official study guide, the transition to delivery is formally defined as the structured process of shifting from high-level planning, governance setup, and business case validation into active component execution, resource mobilization, and benefits realization tracking. Now, in very simple words, transitioning from formulation to delivery is just like taking a rocket ship off the launch pad. You have spent months designing the blueprints, building the engines, and filling the fuel tanks. But now comes the thrilling moment where you actually ignite the engines and blast off into space. Think of it like this. I remember consulting for a massive software enterprise years ago where the team spent 6 months formulating a brilliant digital platform. But when it came time to cross the threshold into delivery, they forgot to hand over the architectural keys to the development teams. The project managers stared at each other blankly, wondering who was supposed to start writing code. That lack of a structured handover caused a 3-month delay right at day 1. Don't worry, we'll take it slow as we map out a smooth crossing. Let's dive deeper into how the transition review gate serves as our mandatory quality and readiness checkpoint before execution begins. According to the official study guide, the program transition review is a formal governance milestone designed to evaluate whether formulation outputs, financial baselines, resource commitments, and stakeholder alignments meet the necessary criteria to authorize entry into the delivery phase. In very simple words, a transition review gate is just like a pre-flight checklist performed by an airline pilot before pushing the plane away from the boarding gate. The pilot checks the weather, verifies the fuel gauges, ensures all passengers are seated, and confirms the flight plan is approved before moving an inch. Let me share a quick story with you. Years ago, I was managing a multi-country healthcare transformation program, and our eager executive sponsor wanted to skip the formal transition review gate to save 2 weeks on the schedule, shouting, "Let's just start building." If I had caved to that pressure, we would have launched component projects without securing their core funding or resource allocations. I stood my ground, ran a thorough transition gate review, caught 2 major missing vendor contracts, and fixed them safely. Stay with me for a moment because mastering transition gates is a classic PgMP exam triumph. Now watch how this connects directly to the delicate art of handing over individual component projects from formulation planners to delivery execution managers. The official study guide states that component handover requires structured knowledge transfer sessions, baseline budget handovers, and formal charter sign-offs to ensure delivery managers fully understand scope boundaries and strategic goals. In very simple words, handing over a component project is just like a relay race where the first runner sprints down the track and hands the baton smoothly to the second runner. If the baton drop is sloppy or clumsy, the whole team loses momentum and falls behind. Think of it like, has this ever happened to you at work, where a planning team finishes a brilliant strategy document, throws it over the fence to the execution team, and walks away, leaving the new managers completely clueless about why certain decisions were made? That is a classic handover failure. When we manage transitions professionally, we conduct joint workshops where planners and delivery managers sit down together, review every risk log and budget line, and sign the handover agreement side by side. Let's talk about the practical mechanics of mobilizing physical, financial, and human resources as you kick off the delivery phase. According to the official study guide, resource mobilization during the transition to delivery involves securing physical workspaces, contracting third-party suppliers, onboarding component team members, and establishing operational working rhythms. In very simple words, resource mobilization is just like moving your family into a brand new house. You have signed the purchase papers during formulation, but now you actually have to unpack the moving boxes, hook up the electricity, turn on the water, and make sure every room is ready for living. Think of it like this. I remember leading a massive engineering program where we successfully passed our transition gate. But our procurement department hadn't finalized vendor contracts for our raw materials. When our construction teams showed up on Monday morning ready to build, There was no steel and no cement on site. The workers stood around drinking coffee for a week while we scrambled to expedite orders. Let's explore how the theoretical benefits identified during formulation are transformed into active, measurable value tracking systems during delivery. The official study guide emphasizes that transitioning to delivery requires operationalizing the benefits realization plan, establishing metric baselines, and setting up dashboards to monitor value delivery across all component life cycles. In very simple words, activating benefits tracking is just like installing a digital fitness tracker on your wrist. During formulation, you talked about wanting to get healthy, but once delivery starts, you turn the tracker on to measure your daily steps, heart rate, and calories burned in real time. Think of it like this. I remember consulting for a financial services firm where a multi-million-dollar technology program was delivering all its component software projects on time and under budget. Yet, the executive board was furious. Why? Because nobody had activated the benefits realization tracking system to measure whether those software upgrades were actually increasing customer retention. Once we mapped out clear benefit metrics during the delivery transition, executives could finally see the financial return on their investment. We have arrived at the final stretch of our journey on transitioning from formulation to the delivery phase. And let's tie it all together with a winning PgMP exam strategy. The official study guide highlights that exam scenarios involving phase transitions will test your ability to recognize transition review gates, manage structure component handovers, mobilize resources effectively, and operationalize benefits realization tracking before active execution begins. In very simple words, this means whenever you read an exam question where a program is rushing prematurely from planning into execution, suffering from a messy handover between planners and delivery managers, or lacking resource readiness, your correct answer choice will always involve enforcing a formal transition review gate, conducting structured handovers, or mobilizing resources prior to execution, never jumping blindly into delivery without a verified gate sign-off. Think of it like a master ship captain who verifies navigation charts, seals the cargo hatches, and checks the crew rosters before pulling away from the dock into the open ocean. And in the next chapter, we are going to talk about establishing the Program Management Information System, PMIS.